Sea hibiscus,
forever to be known.
Yeah.
This is water hibiscus.
All right, let's please be quiet. Please be quiet.
All right, I want to thank you for having me again. For those of you that don't know me, I was, back in the early 70s, I was like a kid in Florida, bonsai. Now I'm the old guy. I was asked to bring these plants here. There are several species of dwarf Euphorbia. I said I would talk about them for 10 minutes. So these are my collection. This tray here is for sale if anybody feels like they would like to get one. They come from South Africa and Madagascar, so you know that they got to be some of the weirdest plants on earth. Come from those two places. This plant here is about 30 years old. So, it's what in the wild they come from the deserts, and in the wild they would be ground level here, and all these little arms would be on the surface, and then the caudex would be buried. But when we take things out of the wild, that we like to make them do what we want them to do. So we generally raise the caudex. This plant here is about 25 years old. So they're some of the strangest plants on earth, and these are flowering now. So if you haven't seen the flowers, come look. They're just neat. Some people have talked about using them for companion plants for display, and some of the people in Florida bonsai that have taken lessons on display from the people that have come back from Japan are pretty much purists, and they say that any plant that you use for a companion plant really should have something to do with the tree that you're displaying to make it tie together. So from Central Africa to Southern Africa, there's about 600 species of ficus. So I would say any ficus, you should be able to display this as a companion plant. Otherwise, most temperate trees, a lot of people might say that you're out in left field, and I know there's people in this room that are way out in left field on display. So
Where's Rob at?
Yeah, not mentioning any names.
I know, I was thinking the same thing.
So
Well, it's a good thing.
We bring whatever looks pretty at the time.
these are, they're very interesting plants. Aside from using them for companion plants, they're just neat-ass plants. I really like them. I never really grew them for companion plants. I just like them. That's why I grow them.
How do you propagate them, Mike?
Mostly by seed. I have, and you'll see that there are some in here. This is one of my hybrids that's different than any of the others. I have wasps in my greenhouse that go from one to the other, and every now and then I'll get these seedlings that come up, and they're just different than anything I have. So this is definitely a hybrid. And some of these, like this one, it has longer leaves. It's one of these, but it has longer leaves. You can see that the leaves curl when they first come out, and they kind of flatten out. So I think this is probably Euphorbia cylinderfolia with a little bit of Euphorbia francoisii in there. So, it's a little bit different. It's just they're just neat plants. I like them.
Are they sharp? Do they hurt? They look
No,
thorny.
they're not spiny. No, the leaves are soft.
Because from distance they look.
No, they're not. They're
Really?
very easy to handle. So if anybody's interested, I'll just set these over here. This tray is for sale, and this tray is my collection.
Good drainage, right?
I use my regular bonsai soil. They root readily from cuttings, but you don't get the caudex from a cutting. It's like a lot of things that are caudex plants from a seed, it'll make a caudex like, you know, the Ficus palmeri, the Ficus petiolaris, the Adenium obesum, make a caudex, if anybody's familiar with a caudex, big fat base. But when you grow any of those from a cutting, they don't make that caudex. It's just from a seedling. So, but you can grow these from cuttings, but they don't make the caudex, so they don't, you know, I don't grow many cuttings. They're over here. If anybody is interested in looking at them closely.